Welcome to Federal Way. If you're looking at making a move out to Federal Way, I have no doubt that the cost of living has got to be on your mind. Today, we're going to cover the cost of living here in Federal Way, housing, eating out, healthcare, and everything in between. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around. We're getting after it right now. Hey, if you want to know everything there is to know about living right here in Federal Way, hit that subscribe button. And if you're thinking about making a move out here in the next 3 days, maybe the next 3 months, send us a phone call, text, or an email. Even better, set up that Zoom call. We'd love to help you make a smooth move out here to Federal Way. One thing everyone wants to know immediately about living in Federal Way, and I guess that just comes with being a real estate broker, is what is housing like? Housing looks a lot different in different parts of Federal Way. Sold everything from multi-million-dollar homes right here on Dash Point to little condos that sold for $150,000. There are a really wide variety of neighborhoods that you can live in here in Federal Way, from new to old, from homes that are smaller, like little tiny condominiums, to mega mansions. Now, what's your vibe like? A house like this, you're probably looking at well over $1 million. But if you want something smaller, maybe a little bit older, it could be a lot more affordable. Listen, this is why you have to reach out to us. We know these neighborhoods inside and out. We know the houses, like this one right here and this one here in the middle. We know what they cost. We know what they're like. We know these neighborhoods. We can definitely help you find the right one. We don't want you moving into the wrong neighborhood. No matter where you live, healthcare is something that you're not really going to be able to avoid. One of the good things about Federal Way is when you look at the cost of healthcare versus what you make financially, the difference isn't really too grand. In fact, the cost of healthcare here in Federal Way, it does sit about 25% higher than the national average. A chilly one today.
Yes, it is.
At places like Virginia and Mason right here, a doctor's visit is going to cost you about $156. However, visiting a dentist right here in Federal Way is going to run you about $135. Now, while that might seem like a lot, even my kid that works at Target makes $25 an hour. So compared to living in Missouri, healthcare here is a lot more inexpensive. Healthcare is really costing us all more money as the year rolls on. And as we go into this next year, I do expect to see a higher increase. Now, with that said, what I will tell you is we do have Apple Care here in Washington. Apple Care is designed to offset healthcare. So if you have little ones or seniors, I highly suggest you hop online and check out Apple Care. And as far as prescriptions go, yes, prescriptions are getting more and more expensive, but we have fantastic places just like Costco that are going to help you offset that cost. So we only have a couple prescriptions in our house, and they range anywhere from $4 to about $30 a month. So while we can't completely eliminate the cost of healthcare, I do have to say that I think healthcare here in Federal Way is something we can actually look forward to as opposed to coming into the next year. When you move somewhere new, undoubtedly you're going to have to buy groceries. And a lot of times take you guys into Safeway and I show you around there, but today you're in for a real treat. I'm taking you to my wife's favorite bargain spot. That's right, the place she feeds seven people out of. The Grocery Outlet. Now, mind you, when you shop the grocery outlet, you might not find everything you need. Think about like an Aldi's in the Midwest. But let's run inside here and I'll show you what some of these prices look like for you and your family. All right, so our family is really big about shopping around the outside of the grocery store. So let's start there. So we got some organic peanut butter for $5.99. That Seattle sourdough is $4.89. Every lifter's favorite, boneless, skinless chicken breast is $1.99 a pound out here. Ground beef looking about $3.99 a pound, or the really good stuff here is gonna be a little bit more expensive for you, obviously. All right, my other lifter favorite is obviously gonna be eggs, duh. So here's some heirloom eggs for $3.49. Organic is $4.79. And then just your traditional mediums are about $1.99 a dozen. And what family couldn't do without a ton of milk? I swear to God, our kids go through like 8 gallons of this stuff a week. It's like every day we need a new one. So here you go, $3.29 for 1%. What most people end up buying, I think, is 2%, which is this one right here at $3.29. And if you're a whole milker, it's still $3.29. Here's a quick look at vegetables. Giving you an idea here. Really good fresh produce. Apples in Washington are a staple at $3.99 a bag. And bananas are 64 cents a pound. Now, obviously, that's not everything. I can tell you that our family of 7 spends between $1,500 and $2,000 a month on just groceries here. And I'll tell you what, we probably eat out too much, so it probably should be a little bit higher. So gauge that, or a family of 7, gauge that to your family size, and that should give you an idea of kind of what the cost of groceries are going to be for you. All right, friends, so we're going to talk about utilities here in Federal Way. I did not actually realize the Public Works building is in the middle of City Hall and the court and the police station. So we're going to try to film real quick, and hopefully no one shuts us down here. Our utilities is actually a place where Federal Way shines. See, utilities in Federal Way are actually 12% below the national average. Now you see the average utility bill is only going to run you about $156 a month. If that sounds low, it's because it is. If it sounds too good to be true, it's because of where you're from. See, I'm originally from Missouri, where we could have bills that range anywhere from, $300 during a normal month, but then winter and summer, those could be over $600. Here in Federal Way, you just don't have that type of weather. A very temperate climate makes for an easy utility bill. Heck, even water's only going to run you about $55 a month. Honestly, the worst utility I can really think of, if you want to count that, has got to be the cell phone bill, which runs like $150 a person somehow. So utilities right here in Federal Way are definitely going to be something that actually is going to save you some money when you look at your cost of living. All right, the last big expense we're going to talk about is got to be transportation cost. We are right here outside the Costco gas pumps. Gas right now is going to cost you about $4 in Federal Way. It's shockingly a little bit higher in Seattle as we speak, and at about $3.84 in the Tacoma region. Here's the thing though, it's not just the fuel cost that's going to get you when you move here. In fact, the cost of the fuel is one of the more minimal costs, but Washington does rank amongst the bottom of all states when it comes to the cost of owning a vehicle. I know you're thinking this guy's probably crazy. The reality is I've put over $4,000 into my daughter's car just this year. I've also replaced 2 tires that have got nails in them from construction. I've had dump trucks smash 3 windshields in 3 of my cars. And on top of that, an oil change runs me about $185. So even if you take advantage of Costco and get some of the lower prices, you're still going to be paying probably a lot more for fuel and your transportation than you were wherever you're coming from. All right, well, there you have it. That's the big major breakdowns of the cost of living in Federal Way, especially as we move into this new year. Now, there are a lot of other little nuances, little expenses. Those are things we can talk about when you set up your Zoom call. I look forward to seeing you. So next time you're out here, we can show you around. I'm gonna head into the house and grab some dinner with the wife and the kids. See you next time. We'd love to make, ugh. God damn, it's cold out here. Ugh. And I swear it's my last try.